This week, the genitive absolute. First up, a brief description and some characteristics. So genitive absolutes structurally have these three characteristics. There's a noun or a pronoun with an anarthrous participle, just meaning that there's not an article in front of the participle, both of which are in the genitive case, and it's usually at the front end of the sentence. Usually, not always. Now there's semantic characteristics that are important as well. The genitive absolute is grammatically unconnected from the rest of the sentence. That's why we call it absolute. The participle is virtually always adverbial. Once in a blue moon it's kind of not, but it's almost always adverbial. And the final semantic characteristic is it always has kind of a temporal sense. It's telling us something about timing. So for an English example, while I was watching TV, I fell asleep on the couch. So if we remove the first half, I fell asleep on the couch is a complete sentence in and of itself. So while I was watching TV is absolute in the sense that we can get rid of it and we still have a whole sentence. But look at what it does. While is temporal. It talks to us about the timing. I is the pronoun and watching is the participle, with TV being an indirect object. So there we have an example in English to work out the mechanics of a genitive absolute. While I was watching TV, I fell asleep on the couch. Let's look at three quick examples from the New Testament. The first up is a textbook example, a perfect application of all six of the characteristics that we talked about. It's in Matthew chapter 9, verse 32. First we'll read it in the ESV and then we'll just look at the genitive absolute. As they were going away, behold, a demon-oppressed man who was mute was brought to him. So the genitive absolute is as they were going away, or we could translate it while they were going away. But let's look at it in Koine. Auton de exermenon. So auton is our pronoun. It's in the genitive plural. They. De is and or but, and exerkomenon is our participle in the genitive case, going out or going away. And while they were going away, or and as they were going away. So it has all the elements. There's a pronoun and an anarthrous participle in the genitive case. It's at the beginning of the sentence. It's unconnected from the rest of the sentence because, behold, a demon-oppressed man who was mute and was brought to him is a complete sentence without the genitive absolute. The participle is adverbial and it has a temporal sense. Like, when did they bring the demon-possessed man to him? While they were going away. Textbook example. Magnificent. Next up, Acts chapter 13, verse 2. While they were worshiping the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit said, "Set apart for me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them." And here we have the genitive absolute, which is quite lengthy in this example because there's not one participle, there are two. So, leiturgunton de auton to curio kai nestuonton. So we have our two participles, leiturgunton and nestuonton, two participles in the genitive. What's the subject of the participles? It's that pronoun, auton, again in the genitive plural, and we have the indirect object, to curio. While they were worshiping the Lord and fasting. Now that's absolute because if we eliminate it, the rest of the verse is still a complete sentence. The Holy Spirit said, "Set apart for me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them." So there we have another one with two participles this time. Finally, we're going to look at a slight deviation from the norm. And this is in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 20. Because they formerly did not obey when God's patience waited in the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is 8 persons, were brought safely through water. Now, our genitive absolute here is not at the front of the verse, it's not at the front of the sentence, because here's the thing. In Greek, this sentence goes from verse 18 through verse 22. And our verse here, verse 20, is in the middle of the sentence, and the genitive absolute is in the middle of that verse. And it is kataskiuadzamenes kibotu, while the ark was being prepared. So you can take that part out, take that phrase out, and the verse and the sentence are still complete without it. But we get a little temporal instruction. During the days of Noah. When during the days of Noah? While they were in the ark, after the rain had come, while it was raining but the boat wasn't floating yet? When God first told Noah about the ark? No. During the time that the ark was being built, during the time when it was being prepared for the oncoming flood. We get the temporal element, we have our participle, we have a noun in this case, not a pronoun. Both are in the genitive case. It's absolute in as much as it can be taken out. It's adverbial, the participle, and we're told about the timing of the events that are going on by use of the genitive absolute. Pretty great stuff. So there are lots and lots of genitives absolute in the New Testament. What are you looking for? The quick hint is if you see a participle without an article in the genitive and the subject of that participle is a noun or a pronoun in the genitive, and that doesn't tend to make sense to us, there's a good indication there that this is a genitive absolute. Take a careful look. Try taking it out of the sentence. If the sentence still makes sense without it, it's probably a genitive absolute. Hope that was interesting for you. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, give me some feedback in the comments. Go dig into your New Testament and look for some genitives absolute, and listen to your speech today and see how often you use them in your English or whatever language is your language of choice in your communication on a day-to-day basis, because we all do it. While I was watching TV, I fell asleep on the couch. Genitive absolute. Thanks again. Till next time, Karis Kairene Humin, grace and peace to you.